Ce soir, nous sommes septembre et j'ai fermé ma chambre.
Music as I hear at the moment here on the show is mostly a compilation of parts. There's hardly any serious approach to develop a system that works as a system. It's a combination of amplifiers, loudspeakers and sources. This step to regard sound as a natural thing, as a combination of parts and pieces, that's what I'm a little bit missing here. Italy is for me especially the country where a lot of individual innovators came with funny, crazy, mad ideas, but produced something that worked as a beginning of a serious system or as a beginning of a serious piece of equipment. That's for me the main reason to be on the show again, to discover what innovative people are here and what they're doing. I've seen more funny things in the past, and I do see at the moment less at the moment, partly because of economical situation. But Italy is a musical country where the combination of music, the loving music, and the very high interest in mechanical solutions is a wonderful blend. In Germany it's mostly mechanical solutions and not so much the music. In other countries it's mostly the music and not so much the technology, but Italy is in a medium position where the technology and the love for music is really blending together. Many composers do come here, even Mr. Caruso came from here. It's a wonderful musical country, and that makes me happy when I walk around, because I still smell the music in all the equipment. If I may say, this is the room. Normally it's a standard to have the speakers here, so on this tops of my fingers, and that's completely wrong. If you make the connecting line between the speakers on 15 degrees and put the chair here instead of putting the chair there, the sound is perfect in any room. But just shift the front line of the speakers 15 degrees and sit in the center line, perfect sound. Even in very bad rooms you have a very good sound, because the standing waves in the regular construction, if this is a room and here are the speakers, the standing waves in this direction, standing waves in this direction, standing wave in this direction, standing waves up and down, all the same. So it adds up coloration. If you have here the room and you have the speakers on this line, the 15 degree line, standing waves are different. So it's staggered tuning, what they call, shifted tuning. That means that an outspoken frequency is not there anymore. Gives wonderful sound even in a very limited environment. This is one of the, I think, 120 tips I gave on my website, tips and hints to improve sound. This is one of the better ones. I don't think that a specific cable is right for a specific selection of equipment. If equipment has defects, especially some defects, then you use the cable as a kind of repair service. Then your statement is right. But if the equipment is right, a better cable will give a better sound, because if you step over the standard technologies like copper, silver, gold, platinum, what we did also, and you find new solutions, what we did, automatically it doesn't matter so much what the quality of the equipment is, because the cable is always better. So if the cable is higher in quality than the rest, you can pull up your quality. If the equipment is here, you can make a lot of changes and still you don't have the right choice. So I said I will make the very best technical solution, and to my biggest surprise it was also very musical afterwards. And you can pull up your equipment, and the joy of listening to music is really lifted dramatically. Not a little bit, dramatically. We have called this 3T, True Transmission Technology. My first cable experiments come from, say, 1975, 1976, when I was winding the coils of moving coil cartridges, and I found that there is a dramatic difference between one wire and the other wire. So I went back again to my university and asked the department, especially involved for these subjects, what is the difference between one wire and the other wire? And they said the impedance. And I knew it was not the impedance, it was something else. It is mostly how the structure of the conductor is put together. Mostly this is a rough mechanical process in drawing a wire. As a result, it depends on the drawing speed, on the purity, on the temperature, on a lot of things, what is not a reliable result. Any manufacturer can change some of the parameters and come up with a different result and claim it's the best of the world. So I came to the conclusion I have to start again from scratch and make a theoretical approach how an ideal conductor should look like. For me, an ideal conductor is not a conductor without any impedance. We found with carbon with 28 ohms a meter that the impedance is not so important. It's much more the structure of the material. It took me 2 years to come to the conclusion that a certain composition of metals in a certain way of manufacturing should give the best result. I could base this on my work on a proton accelerator, where I've been working before when I was on the university, and all the experience I've collected in the meantime over years. Also thanks to one professor who was teaching us metallurgy, and he was bringing us in metals ourselves. So we were walking through atoms, and he showed us this property of atoms gives this on the end in strength or in melting or whatever. With all this knowledge, I came to the conclusion that what we have called now 3T is the ideal combination. So this 3T material was made, the first wires were drawn, and by listening I was really very happy. I said, this is a boy's dream. And in the meantime, in many countries, 3T becomes a kind of audiophile standard. It's a composition of several metals and one non-metal. I have made on purpose a copy to see what the Chinese could find out. If the Chinese make the same cable, the same composition, they won't get the same sound, because it's not only the composition, but it's also the manufacturing. It's like with pizzas. You can put all the ingredients of a pizza in a restaurant at front of the pizza oven, but any pizza baker makes his own specific taste and smell and appetite. So it's the art of manufacturing, and not just the quality of material precisely in 0.1% precise, what makes the final result. This technology to make the right manufacturing after you find out the composition is still something I will not disclose, because I would like to stay a little bit in a pleasant situations, that the Chinese are behind us and not that we have to hunt the Chinese because they copy our product. What happened regular in the past. 3T is a very stable material. It is amorphous. It's a composition of several metals, not silver, not copper, not gold, not platinum, not zinc, not lead, a quite different composition of metals. The good thing is also, those metals are partly found in Europe. What means that in the EU we are not depending on countries where a dictator says we don't export this anymore or we don't sell that anymore. That situation is also over. There's no plating, so we don't work with heavy acids, strong acids, giving corrosion on the surface. The metal can be bent many times without breaking. That does not have any change in structure. And we give 25 warranties on the conductor. So if your cat is eating the cable, no warranty. But if the cable is under normal situations broken or doesn't sound anymore, it's replaced completely. This is, I think, the strongest statement I could ever make. Besides the fact that the first CD ever recorded with 3T was an experiment, became several weeks ago the CD of the year in our country, the classical CD of the year. Especially the jury said the acoustics are so nice and so lifelike that for that reason, beside the music, this CD got this award. The reason is that in regular cable, if sound comes down, there's a certain moment and the sound stops. That's typical digital. That's the difference between digital and analog sound. In our cable, the sound just continues, it doesn't stop. So the last part of the acoustics, the last air bumping the microphone membrane is still picked up and transmitted over 3T. So acoustics, depth, detail and resolution is in all aspects better with 3T than any other cable so far, even in our own program. So I've made an enemy for our own program, but I love 3T. Everything is 3T in my home and in the showroom, and everyone who comes is most happy with the sonic result. It looks now that I'm making a kind of advertisement for my product, and that's what I don't want, because I'm too much interested in to help audiophiles instead of saying you should buy our product and you should be happy, because that's not the reason. The main point here is listening yourself, and if you find it sounding better, and so far worldwide this has been confirmed, you may consider to buy the product, and if you're not happy, leave it.
Ce soir, nous sommes septembre et j'ai fermé ma chambre. Le soleil n'y entrera plus. Tu ne m'aimes